Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, we out here. What's up, Vincent? What's up, Paperboy News? What's going on? Y'all looking for Paperboy? You looking for 600? What's going on, Vincent? How you doing, brother? Assalamu alaikum. You guys go subscribe to my other channels like Big Eddie Boy, Big Eddie Boy One. I'm gonna be on that one a whole lot now. Just chilling, huh? You out this way? Man, I had a hectic day, man. My battery in my van, look, I just bought that damn battery, but it just kept, for some reason, I don't know, man, I left something on or it's just been getting drained. Oh, you in San Bernardino? All right, that's what's up. Hey, Vincent, where I know you from, bro? What's up, Gag Williamson? You know, we got new developments. We know we didn't confirm that the boy Loose Cannon is a rat for sure. He mess around, he might come home. They might drop that Hobbs Act on him. But the reason why they gave me that they might drop it, I don't know, man. But if they do, they do. But I know he's a working machine. He been working. He been a rat. But his other brother is cool. You know, the other one, he's pretty solid. I could jump in anytime I want to. On 58, that's right, bro. I could jump in that pool anytime. Can I jump in? Oh, I'm not jumping in there right now, man. You crazy? Now, if I had my tripod, I would jump in there, bro. Do you know how to swim, Todd? I'll probably get in that jacuzzi later, though. You know, when everybody start coming out here, they have two of them over there. You know, they don't clean these. It's like just the 4th of July, so the reason I ain't get in this pool, there's been so many people up in this pool, they haven't cleaned it yet. They come clean tomorrow, so I'll jump up in there. Sunu, Frank, I'm not getting in there, man. I ain't getting in there, man. Matter of fact, you see all that wind blowing right now, bro. I'm not getting in there. It's too damn cold. See, I'm black, bro. I need some warmness. I can deal with the heat, but I'm not finna be getting in that cold ass water. It ain't even a heated pool, bro. You just once you get in, you'll be all right. That's one of them jump ins, and your body adapt to the heat of the coldness, and then you'll be all right. But nah, not today. Hey Frank, was you on 600 live today? He was going. It was going crazy. Them dudes crazy on this live. They just called to talk shit to him, man. That's crazy. Dudes, man, it'd be a lot of zesty dudes up in there, and I'd be like, wow, man, that stuff is nuts. I don't even know how people have the time to be like that. It just goes stupid, go crazy. Yeah, he probably is, man. You're old enough to be the man's son. I mean, man, you're old enough to be the man daddy. What are you talking about, Frank? You was a cold piece. I be living, just living, man. I don't tell people my business or nothing like that. I do okay. I just be living, you know. Everybody else, they call me a crackhead, and I laugh at it because crackheads don't live like this. Crackheads live from trash can to trash can, street corner to street corner, alley to alley, you know. So I just laugh at that, man. I let people think what they want to think. And they say 600, me and 600 live together like dummies. I be laughing at that too, man. Dudes are stupid, man. But one thing I noticed about this internet, man, it's like dudes have their own perception, and dudes, they lie so much that so many people, they'll believe that lie and they'll run with that lie because that's their own perception of certain things. Well, he's not out right now, man. I'll be talking to him soon too, inshallah. He sent word to me yesterday, but I couldn't answer the phone. The brothers called me. How he was on the phone when they called me. I didn't pick up. I didn't know he was on the phone, but we'll see. Cause I'm sure gonna answer it. Dudes like, you gonna talk to him? Hell yeah, I'm gonna talk to his ass. Cause I want to know what the hell going on with him. I want to know his mental capacity. I want to see if he all right. I want to see what's going on with him. Certain things I want to know. And a lot of dudes don't know, man, the history, man. Even though we don't rock with each other, what's up, humans first? Um, Even though we don't rock with each other, it's always gonna be a respect level, you know, because we know both our capabilities, and that's just what it be, man. You know, and at our age, I don't think nobody can do like 20, 30, 40 years, or even 10 more years. Ain't can nobody do that time, man. Yeah, yeah, he did. He knew better than that, bro. He done that to himself, man. He can't even blame nobody else for that one right there, bro. And everybody from the section say the same thing. What's up, Simran? What's going on? How you doing? How everything's going out there, bro? What I think of Nipsey situation? What do you mean? What I think of Nipsey situation, man? I think Nipsey situation was fucked up. I think all of us from the section that you from used to be from there or not, bro. That are from there. It was fucked up, brother. Right, right. I'm not trying to do what I already did. I heard that, brother. Are you tied in with older NH40? If so, how do you feel about the 4X situation and it being public. Yeah, man, I'm tied in with them old brothers from the 40s, man. I talk to them brothers. I don't know about that, bro. I don't know if Big U has something to do with that, man. I can't pinpoint that. I don't know. Uh, that situation with 4Extra, bro, I think, see, man, I move differently, so I think differently. You know what I'm saying, that Turner? When you get older and you move and you get smarter and you get wiser, you start to move differently and think differently. So a lot of the, stupid shit that we used to do back way back in the days, we wouldn't have done all that shit. Like the shit that 4Extra was doing out there right now. I don't know how old he is, like 37 or something. We would have never been doing that at 37 years old, bro. You know, we would have been doing that like at 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, stuff like that. We wouldn't have been doing that at that age. We would have been so focused on the bag, you know, we wouldn't have had time for that, man. But that's whatever his persona was, his trademark was, when he was out here doing his thing. That's what he was doing, bro. But I don't think he knew the danger of dealing with, that was dynamite he was dealing with. See, them M80s we used to deal with was little bitty round ones, real small. You understand? They was real small. They wasn't that big. So, and then even though they was that small, we just used to light them and run away and just let them blow up. We never have it in our close to us or anything like that. No. So, but I don't know, man. It's like, man, when you dealing with the leadership nowadays, man, you can't really tell these youngsters too much or nothing, because these youngsters think they know it all. And especially if they start getting to the bag or getting some motion, can't nobody really too much tell them too much or nothing. Until they run into a brick wall. It's just unfortunate that happened to that brother, man. He said, "Be your own people." What are you talking about, human first? What be your own people? What, self-destruction or destroying each other? If that's what you're talking about. I just hope the brother, yeah, hell yeah, be your own people. But you guys see them people, them brothers in Chicago trying to come together. Them brothers in Chicago trying to come together right now, man. They trying to stop all that killing. Cause them brothers out there, they be like, it's like the 80s and 90s out there, man. They dropping bodies like it's hot out there. But they didn't stop that stuff. They didn't cease fire, bro. And all them two big gangs, they didn't came together, bro. They were like, man, forget all that. It's something that they see, and it's something that they paying attention to. So if they see something and they paying attention to it, I think that all the brothers, man, worldwide should have that same type of energy and same type of stance. When they coming together, man, and getting together, man, so they won't be sitting there, man, killing each other up, man, because it's finna get worse out here, and I don't think people is paying attention how bad it's finna get, man. Because it's like it's to the point where love don't make no sense, especially when you got ICE out here, you got them, especially in California. Them Pisces, man, them immigrants, they gotta eat, man. They got to eat, bro. So they gonna come out here, man, and they gonna do everything they can, to feed their kids, have a roof over their head for their families. They gonna get out here and get with it, even if all they knew was working. But if they can't do that, they gonna come out here, man, and try to get to something, get enough money to secure them for a period of time, and ain't no telling who they gonna try to trip on to get it. So, man, brothers got to be mindful of that. So it's finna be real different, all around the globe, bro. It's finna be on. And I don't think brothers is ready for that, man. I hope brothers are ready for that, man. I hope brothers been training. I hope brothers been messing around, man. And, to stay ready so they don't have to get ready, if you know what I mean. So it's like, if you're not on that type of time, you're gonna lose. And the cold part about it is, man, on that gang level tip, it's like the lowest level of all, man, because brothers don't think big. Brothers just think like from street to corner to corner, or section to section. Nah, bro, this is bigger than that, man. This finna get crazy, man. They gonna have no choice but to come together in a bit. In a minute, watch what I tell you, man. They gonna have to get with it. They're gonna have to, they're gonna have to man up in every capacity. That's why we say the streets is a myth. All that stuff is a myth, man. If you could go to the penitentiary, brother, and get along with everybody, all your ops, spread with your ops, eat with your ops, clothe your ops, give them hygiene and all that type of stuff. When you come back to the street, why you can't could continue the same program it was up in there, bro? Why brothers can't bridge the gap, you know? And I don't understand that, man. It's like, dude, it's like you have to bridge the gap. Somebody got to come to the forefront and be like, okay, look, this is what's gonna happen. And if dudes don't want to fall in line, and you know what happened to dudes when they don't fall in line, bro. And pretty soon, when enough examples has been made, dudes are gonna get in line. That's all, man. Because when it comes down to change, somebody have to die though. When you want peace, somebody have to die. It's like when you dealing with just history as a whole, and you go back to all the wars, and you go back to the history where the evil was fighting good, somebody have to die, bro. Was county jail more violent than the level 4 prison? Yes, it was. It was way more violent than the level 4 prison in my era. I don't know about now, but in my era, that county jail, brother, it was so dangerous up in there, man, because you had too many blind spots. You was stuck in cells, you was stuck in day rooms. Um, you didn't know too much of nothing. You don't know who have knives, if you didn't have a knife, and all that type of stuff, brother. It was way more dangerous, it was way more ruthless. You had booty bandits, you had dudes, preying on the non-affiliates. You had dudes tripping on the bloods, man. It was just crazy up in there, bro. So it was way more dangerous in my era. I don't know about now, because they saying now you just run up, go in there, and you just run fades. We never used to have to do that. I never heard of that. We never used to run fade. It was like a respect factor when you came up in that joint, man. You stayed in line, you stayed in your place, and the first thing you tried to do was you tried to get the hell up out of there. If you was going to the pen, dudes was literally taking deals just to get out the county and go to the pen, bro, to get the hell away about that county jail, because it was straight ruthless up in there. So you mind your own business. If you're part of a group or a section, you mingle with your section. You make sure you don't put them in harm's way. You in line. Put it like this, brother. You in check. You was when in my era, you was in check up in that joint, man. I don't care who you was. I don't care if you was a top dog or not. You was in check. You wasn't gonna put nobody in harm's way, because anybody can get it, bro. But like I said, I don't know about it right now, man. You may have to ask some of them youngsters, man, that's growing up right now, how it is right now, man. Because all the stories I hear, them dudes running fades and doing weird stuff. Some of the G's was the problem, bro. It wasn't the youngsters. It was the G's that was the booty bandits. It was like this. They Nat Turner. It was the dudes that was coming down from the penitentiary. And them dudes, like them dudes, like they had weights back then. Them dudes had was swole, big old chest, big old arms, legs, thighs. Them dudes, they was like monsters up in there, brother, compared to a whole lot of brothers that was coming in from the streets. And then it's like, if you didn't have a lot of homies up in there, they'll take advantage of you, man. If you was from a small set, they'll take advantage of you. And then, but you'll be tested up in there. So if you show any type of weakness up in there, that's when them booty bandits, man. That's when they'll start. They'll be a predator and prey over you, and things of that nature, man. But sometimes some dudes, homeboys, won't even go on for that, even though um, one of your comrades or something was a weak individual. Some of your comrades, I know the brothers from my section, they wasn't going for that, bro. They wasn't going for that. You couldn't touch one of us up in there like that, because we was gonna tear the whole joint up. If you touch one of us like that. So, but you had booty bandits from every section, man. So we had to whoop on a dude. We had to whoop on a booty bandit because he put us up in a situation with the Comptons up in there. you know. And we was outnumbered. We was only like 8 of us up in there, man. And the Comptons, man, they was like almost 30 deep up in there. Why do you why do you act like you haven't been put on your pockets? I know the truth, bro. What are you talking about? What do you mean put on my pockets? Who put me on my pockets? Yeah, he raped somebody in the Compton corner. And whoever you are, Don the one. I never said, man, that I won every fight. I won every fight. All right, on time. I done been jumped plenty of times. So what are you talking about? You must be a minion or something. Okay, you's a troll. Let me get you out of here. Yeah, he just created that page. He just created that page 1 minute ago. He literally created that page 1 minute ago and came up in here and started talking shit. So you got to have trolls, man. You got to it be dudes that be secretly hating you. You know, nah, man. I ain't keeping no haters up in here, man. You know, them haters can keep on. They can keep on pushing, man. You know, because one thing for sure, two things for certain, they gonna hate, man. Hate from afar, bro. You know, there's plenty of channels they can go into and just hate and go crazy and act stupid and act like they don't have no decorum about themselves and things of that nature. Man, I ain't gonna got time for that shit, bro. That would make me walk away from that gang shit. They ain't gonna, yeah. Nah, a lot of them dudes, man, they just sit back and listen, bro. Mm, I touched over like me and F Bone touched Me and F Bone touched a million, not a million, but a half a million in one day. And me and Draws was touching like stupid bread, man. Was like for like 3 months straight. So I'm gonna say out the 500 that me and F Bone had touched, I got 300, and him and somebody else got 100 because it was my play. Um, Me and Draws was touching. Every time me and Draws went on something, man, we was touching at least 10 keys or better at that time, and you know the keys was like 25 a pop. So we was doing. I'm telling you, bro. To be honest with you, be truthful with you, the lick that me and Draws went on to go to jail, we didn't even have to do that, bro. To be honest with you, cause we was already on, bro. We didn't have to do that, man. We was being greedy, man. You know, and I had just got a job for the county. I had passed the tests and everything. That was gonna be the last hurrah because I had two kids, so you know, I was looking at that, man. I was paying attention to that, and I was like, man, I got to get out the streets. So that was my last hurrah, but that wasn't my last hurrah. That was my downfall. So, the decision making and greed, man, it's not always, it's not always good to be greedy like that. You know, if you have enough, you know how to, to maintain what you have to maintain, and you probably can like push forward with that, invest in that and things of that nature because back then, like the apartment building was only like 100 grand, bro. Houses was like 30, 40 thousands and stuff like that. I gave my baby mama. Um, nah, we didn't bust them down, Frank. We sold them. We sold them suckers all the way. We sold them this right like what it was. Um, I gave my baby mama, like almost like 20 grand. They bought a house out in Texas. My daughter staying in that sucker right to this very day. So it's just certain things, man, we was doing, man. I was making moves, man, to the point where I was gonna get completely up out the game, period. So I was making a trans. You know, cause when you get to a certain age, I think I was like 24. I was 24. Nah, I never ran across Freeway Rick, but we know about each other though. I talked to him on the phone the other day with 600. We know each other. At least know of each other. Put it like that. Freeway Rick was always over there with the Hoovers, man. So, and we was always over here with Joe Rat. So we didn't cross paths like that. I know Waterhead Bo too. Fleming, Flint, all them dudes. I know all them dudes. I remember, brother, we was in the Fox Hill Mall. It was me, No Good, Big U, Lil Looney. Man, it was a bunch of us, bro. It was a whole crew up in there, and Flint was up in Farouz. I don't know if you guys familiar with Farouz down there on the first floor where you go buy all the clothes at. And you know, the dude, all the ballers used to go, man, to buy all the suits and clothes and, you know, for occasions or, you know, stuff like that to get fresh, you know, go on, you know, whatever it is. So we walked up in there, man. Flint was up in that joint. Yeah, that's what it was. Yep. We walked up in there, bro. Flint was up in there, man. You should have seen Flint's face, man, when we walked up in that joint, man. He seen, because they spotted him. The homie spotted him. And, you know, I'm looking from afar because I know him. I'm looking for from afar. And then he was looking. And then I eased up like in the out the crowd. And he was like, "Oh, Eddie boy, what's happening, man?" And he was like, he walked up to me, "You see, I'm good." I was like, "Yeah, bro, you good, man. You good with us, man." You know, because, you know, back then, the brothers was wolves, man. Brother was wolves. Brother, you know, cause Flint, you know, he had that, you know, that jury on, had money on him and stuff like that. You know, let the brother shop and stuff like that, man. But like I said, bro, when you out there in that space, you hustling, or you go to jail, you form relationship with certain individuals, man. And in regards, you get a pass, they give you a pass, and you know how it is. You know, it's a mutual respect type of thing. So, with them dudes out there, man, the 80s and 90s, man, that was it was some real money back then. But now, it's so hard for them brothers to hustle. You got to come on the other side to hustle, you know, on the legal side to hustle. And if you don't, you're gonna get caught up because it's too much at risk. You know, too many things is in place, man. Technology, informers, AI, all that old weird stuff, bro. It's just like it's too much, bro. You know, you can't tell nobody you hit a lick or nothing like that nowadays, boy. They're gonna hurry up and go run and tell somebody. And they're gonna be right on your bumper, man. Right on your bumper. Did y'all see when them people got away with that jury heist? I think it was over like $9 million like a few years ago. They just now getting caught. They just now getting caught, man. That's crazy. They waited all that time, and somebody probably start talking, getting drunk. You know how when people get drunk, start talking and saying certain shit. Somebody turned their ass in, man. And them dudes all in jail right now. I don't know if they got the merchandise, but hey, tell you, man, it's like if you out there doing anything, if you take somebody with you. Right. What's up, T-Dog? What's going on? Right, Vincent. Yeah, Bruce. Yeah, Bruce was another dude that was out there doing this thing too, man. It was a lot of brothers out there, man, you know, getting to the bag, bro. It was so many brothers out there getting to the bag, man. It was depending on which level you was getting to the bag. Because you had like every person from each section that was getting to the bag, you know, on a high level. You know, so and then, you know, a lot of brothers, you know, like the youngsters and stuff like that, you know, we used to try to emulate the older guys that was getting to the bag. So the gang banging part, it came along with the struggle, but it was like a 2 or 3 year type, you know, um in the trenches type atmosphere until you get a taste of that money. So once you get a taste of that money, You still be from the section. You still would be with the business, but you way more smarter and you way cautious on how you move because you out there trying to get to the bag. You know, you're not on the front line, so to speak, like that. Now, if something happened to a joint or something happened to one of the brothers over there that wasn't supposed to happen like that, man, then you're gonna see the whole crew come about the woodworks and demonstrate like they need to demonstrate. But other than that, man, it's like levels to that stuff. You have a low level, you have a mid level, and then you have a so-called mid level, then you have a high level. That's the way it is. But after the high level, it's like, where do you go from there? Do you still be in the streets like that, or do you try to venture off and be on the other side, meaning the legal side, so you can, bubble up more? Because the hood credit, the hood riches, that only get you so far, bro. The reputation only get you so far. So you have to step on the other side to get to the other level. And if you don't, you're never gonna be successful. Every successful game member, brother, they done stepped outside that round, brother, and went on the other side, man. And they doing their thing. And you can take a lot of examples from anywhere. I don't care if they're a rapper or anything like that. If you follow Nip, if you follow Nip, when I came home, man, Nip was basically just now getting on the map. And I watched Nip evolve from a gang type, always being down type dude, bro. Uh, nah, Papa T still around, bro. Um, I seen him go from a gang type dude into evolve into a grown, like a full conscious grown man, bro. Before my very eyes, I seen that. And the only thing that Nip didn't do, Nip got to the point where when he had that first album, he was supposed to get away. He could have still did good for the community, um, but he had to get up out the community to be more successful, bro. You know, look at Snoop Dogg. You know what I'm saying? Look at Ice Cube. Look at all these dudes, these rappers, brothers that come from the inner circle. Dr. Dre and all them dudes, bro. Mac 10 and all them brothers, man, they come from the inner city, but they come up out the inner city in order to be successful. Now you can still give back to the community, but you have to leave that alone, man, because you're gonna always have jealous individuals, irregardless if they from your section or not, man. They gonna be jealous, they gonna be mad, they gonna be envious, they gonna be mad because you ain't put them on. All type of shit comes with that, man. Even if you have some brothers that's not rappers, man, that didn't mess around and got to the bag, they come about that realm, bro, and they be successful, man. They got businesses and they got all that type of stuff, but they're successful, right? So, and that's be a lot of brothers' downfall, man. And I truly believe that was Nip downfall. He had a Hollywood girl. He was making moves, bro. He had all type of contracts going on. He was making moves, bro. And once you start making moves like that, you got to secure yourself, you and your family. You know. So, and shit, man, it was just unfortunate. And then what really blew me away about that situation, you got all them dudes out there, ain't nobody got no blowers on them. I'm like, man, when did that ever happen? When did that happen? Because when we was growing up, bro, that brother would have never ever made it about that parking lot. Never. He probably would have shot one time and probably got this, we would have Swiss cheese that boy right there. Now he could have kept the store there, bro, but he should have just gave somebody else control over it. All them blocks was getting monies in the 80s, man. Brian Hurst, Victoria, 10th Avenue, 11th Avenue, that whole section was getting. I could be that. I can't do that, bro. Like I said, I can't never answer that, man, because it'll be giving brothers it'll be doing the brothers injustice, man. Because I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. You have joints from every era, right? And and to be honest with you, man, in the 80s when I first came, you had some down ass dudes over there, man. I'm talking about pushing a line, bro. And then you have to understand that the dudes that come up under them, they emulate that, so they push the same particular type of line. So I just can't say, I just can't give that to three people, bro. It's like when you dealing with that reputation in any section, bro. It's a group of individuals, man. I'm talking about a lot of individuals, brother, to give that section that reputation. It's just not one or two, three dudes, bro. That's line pushers. You have a lot of dudes that's line pushers, bro. Yeah, I seen big in that turn. I seen big space go fight too many times. Did nobody really want to fight that boy, man. That boy, he was off the chain, man. Um, went wrong with the game. Um, I believe greed. Went wrong with the game. I believe greed. Greed went wrong with the game. Um, Cutthroat went wrong with the game, and informants went wrong with the game. Cause that's how me and Draws got caught up with an informant. Dudes was out there, selling us stuff, and then they get caught up. And what they do is they'll give up all the buyers. Yeah, you know. And then like in the 80s and the 90s, brother, it was so much money out there. Everybody can eat, man. I'm talking about everybody, bro. It's like we used to do stuff out there, and we used to go back, and certain dudes we used to mess with, they never used to be with us. We used to just look out for them. Yeah, this is nice pool, bro. You should see the other one on the other side. This ain't nothing. I ain't took y'all over there in the rooftop. The rooftop is, is banging. Monday I'm gonna go live from over there. It's really nice over there. Yeah, the rooftop be nice, but it'd be too windy up there, man. That's why I'm pretty trying to go up there. It'd be just like windy. It'd be too much wind. A key was for it was 25 racks back in the day when we was dealing with it. It was 25 a pop. So if we go do something and we get like 10 keys, me and Draws used to get like 125 a pop. We used to get 125 each, right? Or me and Draws would take 100 and I give one to one of my closest buddy and Draws give one to one of his boys or something like that. You know how that stuff go. We look out for each other. Nah, man, like Monster wasn't the only line pusher from the gangsters, bro. Are you crazy? His name was just ringing more. It's just like Petey Wag name was ringing. Key Rock name was ringing. Mumble's name was ringing. Lil Mump name was ringing. It's like your name a ring because you've been in certain situations. Lil Feet name was ringing. You've been in certain things, in certain things where it's situations and your name would just ring, bro. Fred Hill name was ringing. So it's just man. But you have those who behind the scene, they don't want their names to be ringing. You don't want your name to ring, bro. Cause once your name is ring, you's a target. He said, where did it go wrong between you and Draws? Southern California. It went wrong with me and Draws, bro, when we went to jail, right? You could clearly tell that the brother didn't want to do no time, man, and it was you could tell that when we went up in there, just his whole attitude and his whole disposition started to change, man. Up in there, you can tell that we was in trouble, but we didn't know what type of extent we was in trouble. And basically, I was trying to get a deal. They weren't even trying to give us no deal. They just wanted to just take us to trial, regardless of what was going on. And He knew that, and I knew that. But what went wrong, brother, is like when the police said he made them statements, right? When I first got the police report, they said he made 2 statements. I have the paperwork. I just don't be posting it, man, because I really don't give a shit too much about it anymore because it's over 30 something years ago. They said he made 2 statements, right? And then we was in the county, we was Cellies, and I showed him, the paperwork. I was like, hey, bro, look what the police said. And he read it. And he said, "Oh man, you know how the police is, bro." So I took that as validity because he was my homeboy. You're always supposed to give your homie the benefit of the doubt. So, but when we got found guilty, we went to the pen. We went to Calipatra. We on the same yard. It's still all cool. It's still all love. And then when I went to another yard, he started telling the comrades, my ex comrades, that I only got 5 years, and I told on our case. And I was like, what? So, but first I didn't believe that. Then it was like 4 or 5 more brothers that came from the section, came over there and was telling me that. And I was like, man, fuck that shit. And then I started bringing out the paperwork. I said, man, this is what the police said he did. And this is, et cetera, because they used his statements in the trial, to convict me of the conspiracy. So that's where we went wrong at. If he would have never said that I had only had 5 years and I had 32 years, and he would have never said I told in that case, it would have never been bad, bro. We'll still be, we probably wouldn't be homeboys, because I'm on the other side. By me being a Muslim, and he was still on the other side of 60, but it would still been, a mutual respect type, atmosphere. Even though it's still like a respect thing, it's gonna always be there because he know my get out and I know his get out. But that's where it went bad at, bro. And when you up in that penitentiary, bro, and somebody label you as a rat, you fair game. I don't care where you from, bro. You fair game. That's where it went wrong at, bro. You know, and I've been told this story, man, so many times, and dudes don't understand that because it's like if you weren't from our era or you wasn't there with us, you wouldn't understand that. Because the dude was like, oh man, draws didn't tell he was on the same yard with you. Of course he was on the same yard because we was cool on the same yard. Yeah, I know Flux. I know Flux very well. So it just certain things that happen, man. Like a lot of younger people that's like 40 and 50 young and younger, they don't really understand, what really transpired. And then you have some of my ex comrades, they just didn't believe it. They probably they believe it now, but back then they didn't believe it, man. And then it was like a bitter taste for me, and I'll be like, okay, man, nigga, fuck you dudes, man. You dudes is like on some other shit. It's like favoritism, and like shit, motherfucker. I have the same level of capacity that everybody else. I wasn't running around there being no buster or no coward or nothing like that, man. I was standing on my own too, and I was out there, brother. I was sick so crazy with that stuff. So sometimes it's always favoritism, and then when you get the favoritism on your side, you got to sit back and analyze that shit and be like, okay, man, if I go up in this war zone, I might have to mess around and kill a couple of dudes. And it's hard to do that, man. Especially if you know people's mamas, brothers, sisters, families, and stuff. I can't do that, bro. That's a hard pill for me to swallow, man. And some dudes, they don't really care about that, man. They don't care about it just because you guys grew up together and shit like that, man. Them dudes will still try to, take you out the game and all that old weird shit. But here's it is, your mama done fed this man, your mama fed me and all that. This shit is weird, bro. You know, that's why I say that shit ain't no good. That shit is a myth, man, because people would turn on you at the drop of a hat, man, over like a little misunderstanding, period.
What do you want to eat? I don't know. I'll just go in there. You know, look at this underwater.
Hey, Aki Big Flux, Big Flux was a bully, man. He said, "Hey, boy, it's a cricket back in the day. Fat Donnie used to call himself Cricket back in the day." I never heard of no cricket man, but I know Fat Donnie. See, Fat Donnie. See, when you talk about Fat Donnie, you talk about Fat Donnie as being a brother from over there. But he. Salam alaikum, brother. He knew his position. He knew his lane, and his lane was getting to the bag. He never tried to play tough. He never tried to, act like he was just as hell of a dude or nothing like that. He knew his position, bro. And that's how that's why people, right, he was a hustler. And that's why you had you to respect that brother, because when people know they lane and know their position, you can't do nothing but respect them brothers, man. You know? And to be truthful for you, bro, dudes that are hitters and dudes that are real hardcore gang members, they need to be around them type of individuals, bro. They need them individuals like that, man, in order for them brothers, just like Keita Mac. Keita Mac was the same way. You know what I'm saying? Keita Mac, you had a lot of brothers, man, like that, man. Joe Rad and all them brothers were straight hustlers, man. So you got to have brothers like that in your section, man, so they can teach you how to get to that bag, brother. Yeah, Donnie was, yeah. Fat Donnie, yeah. Right. Looking back on you, how do you explain being crazy back then? Do you buy into the hype? You seem so different now. Some dudes never really change. They just get tired of it, tired of prison. Man, bro, it's like first, it start with self, man. Once you start educating yourself and you start, for me, it started. I felt out of place when I was in prison. I felt out of place, bro. To be honest with you, I felt that a lot of stuff that was going on up in there, man, that I wasn't immune to that, bro. So and you start educating yourself, you start dissing yourself from certain activities, certain bull crap. You do more reading, you do more studying, and once you get to that plateau, you start to change, man. And then you don't, and then once, and I'm gonna tell you the main thing that you need to do. You don't have to care. You don't never care what somebody think about you. Once you get to that point where you don't give a shit what nobody think about you, then that's when that the level of change start to take the real effect. But for the kids right now, when I tell when you try to get at them and tell them, because I deal with kids like that, bro. I mentor kids like that, and I explain to them, don't believe the hype. I give them my story. I give them what I went through. I give them what the senseless stuff I used to do, and the stupid stuff I used to do, and I got a stupid reward. So, and I start like breaking down, like, if you like girls, and I be like, you like girls, they'll be saying, oh yeah. I said, you go to jail, you ain't gonna have no girl. If you like, going here or going there and stuff like that, man, you go to jail, you're not gonna have that. So it's easy for them to relate to losing something rather than you pushing them, telling them don't do this and don't do that. You got to find a systematic way, man, to get inside their brain to get them to understand that they're gonna lose something that they don't want to lose. See, older gang members, they say they changed, but it seems like they one bag innocent away from revert. Right, right. I could be right. They be having one foot in and one foot out. That's what I call them brothers, man. Even though they have jobs, they still go to functions. They still go to funerals. I'm not saying they can't go to funeral, but they still go to functions. They put themselves in harm's way, stuff like that. That means they haven't fully reverted out that demonstration. Me, it takes a lot for me to even. I haven't been around there, brothers, in so long. No funerals, no gatherings, or nothing like that. And now, if a certain individual's demise, now I might pop up. I might pop up, right? But other than that, bro, I'm so bougie now, bro. It's unbelievable. You couldn't catch me around. I don't go to jazz festivals. I don't go to rare breed or nothing like that, bro. I'll be around some bougie type stuff, different type of atmosphere, very comfortable. I don't care about none of that stuff. The women, I don't deal with hood rats. If a woman is not making six figures, I don't even talk to her. All that shit, bro. It's just a ultimate change, man. Because you have to when you won't change, you gotta You have to basically stay in that change. Right, bro. I'm telling you, man. I can't do it, bro. Even though I love some of them brothers, man, they my friends and stuff like that. But I talk to them over the phone. No, they have to come in my arena to meet up with me, bro. Yeah, Asian persuasion. Right. So they have to come in my arena, man, and meet up with me, bro. You know what I'm saying? They got to come in my comfort zone. I'm not gonna come in your comfort zone. And I trip off like when dudes be like, "Oh man, you can't go to your hood." Yeah, dude, I can go over there if I want to. I have family still stay on 10th Avenue. I go over there when I want. When I want to, I go over there. But me going over there and just hanging out, man, being 58 years old, man, are you crazy? Man, you sound stupid. Oh, you don't go to hood day. You damn right I don't go to hood day. Never been to one in my life. Never had one and never seen one and never heard of until I came home. So, it's just different now, bro. It's just like, once you get a taste of the other side, you don't want to go back. Right, right. When you don't want to be, I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. This is some of these dudes' mind state. If you don't want to be around that stuff and you don't want to participate in that stuff, they'll call you a buster, right? Okay, if I don't want to be around that stuff and I don't want to participate in that stuff, I'm just gonna be a buster, man. Because my buster ass, I'm gonna make sure that I'm safe, my family's safe, I'm having a good time. I don't have to go in there and be facing 10 to 15, 20 years or something like that. Salam alaikum, Aki. I do it like an hour out. I just literally put something on there, inshallah. So that's what I'm gonna be, man. If I don't have to go to hood days, I don't have to go to the hood, man. I'm gonna be a buster, man. Because I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. The busters and the non-affiliates, they the ones, brother, out here, man, is having a lot of fun. They not putting their life in harm's way. You know, the women are choosing them and everything, bro. Right, exactly. That's right, MP. Exactly. So, man, that's just what that be, man. It's like, and I think it still be peer pressure, man. Even dealing with some of my ex comrades, that's my age, bro. I think them dudes be like peer pressure, man. They can't talk to certain people, they can't deal with certain people. It's just crazy, man, how dudes let other individuals dictate their life. Oh man, we don't like him. You can't talk to him, huh? You telling me I can't talk to a dude that I grew up with and he ain't never did nothing to me just because he don't function and bang with the hood no more? I can't talk to him. Yeah, you can't talk to him or you can't be around us. And some of them dudes, man, they go for that shit, But that, like I said, that speak volumes, man, to who they are. Yeah, I could be all the time. That's a habit. I'm always aware of my surroundings, bro. Always. I even have my girl like that. You know, I had to train her like that. You have to make sure don't when somebody knocking on the door, just don't open the fucking door. You don't do. She used to do that shit. She used to piss me off. You know, uh, just don't do some things, man. When you go out, when you go to your car, you like, you look both ways. You wait for a minute. All that stuff. All my survival instincts still in there like that, bro. That's the way I move, bro. Period. You gotta always be aware.
Wait, Trey, did you know I never used
Nah, bro, you ain't gonna never be able to. You better not turn it off. Hey, Aki B, you better not turn that off, brother. Wallahi, you better not turn that off, brother. Just because you change, don't mean you don't use your survival skills, brother, to survive, bro. You just ain't with the bullshit no more. Yeah, we do, bro. You ain't Oh man, that's crazy, but that's just what that is, man. I hope brothers still do that, still be aware of their surroundings. I don't care, but I'm around a whole lot of white folks, Asians, blacks, Hispanics, but still though, my surroundings, man, I'll be looking at these white folks. I'll be like, and they could be regular people. Sometimes I think they the police. you know, and I'm not even doing nothing. I'm not even in the field, but I still think like that, you know. So it's like, you know, your awareness and your surroundings, you got to always be, you know, aware of that, you know, irregardless. You can't never underestimate nothing, period. I don't care what it is. Because that's how we used to move through the land. When we was out there in the trenches, we used to move through the land. We used to be in uncharted territory, and we'd be going finna go pounce on something. Hey, bro, we used to blend in so much, and they didn't even know we was finna pounce on it. So you gotta always be aware of that. So if you have that experience of doing that, so you'll know that somebody can do that to you. Right, you gotta be on point, bro. Irregardless, man, if you safe or not, brother, you gotta be on point. It's just like, man, you'll never know. You know, because I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. If you pay attention to certain scenarios, who the mass killers in the world? It's the white folks, man. They the serial killers. They'll go in there and kill a whole school up at the drop of their hat, bro. You know what I'm saying? So you know they'll lose their job and go back to their job, brother, and shoot the whole job up. So you just even when you at work, you got to be cautious. You got to be mindful. You can't even tell your coworkers all your business. If you do, brother, you're a damn fool. You know. So it's just like everywhere you go, you just got to be cautious. You got to be careful on who you give information to and all that type of stuff, bro. All right, man, I got to get up out of here, brothers, man. You guys have a good night. I just came to tap in, man. Y'all subscribe to my other channel, man. Big Eddie Boy 1, because I'm going to be over there a lot now, because I'm only dropping content over there now, and I'm going to be over there going live over there, bro. So y'all subscribe to that, man. Y'all have a good night. Stay blessed. Assalamu alaikum.